Once you become interested in church architecture, church buildings, and how to read them, it becomes painfully obvious that there is just so much information that you need to learn and consume. And it might feel overwhelming at times. There is the different architectural styles, symbols, art, ornaments, vestments, colors, and so on. And it might feel that I don't know where to begin. And that's why I wanted to make this video. There is 3 shapes that you need to learn in order to unlock your church reading. These 3 shapes will, and they are very, very simple. They are the basic 3 shapes in the world, and these will unlock your church reading abilities. Number 1 on this list is the circle. The circle is the perfect shape. It is, even in the ancient times, it was called the perfect shape. It's about eternity. It has no beginning, no end. And if you take any spot from the boundary, it has the same length to the center, from the boundary to the center. And once you start looking at a circle, it becomes also obvious that the center is what keeps it going. Everything revolves around the center. In the churches, the circle depicts heaven, and you can find it in the dome. You can find it in the entrances. The bottom of the entrance is square, but on the top it is semicircle. And you can find it also inside the church in the apse, which is again a semicircle. In all of these places, the circle depicts heaven. But the square, as mentioned on the bottom of the entrance, is depicting the earth. So the square is the second shape, and you can find the square in the entrance of the church. You can find it in the checkered black and white floor in the church, and you can find it in the pendentives, the 4 pendentives that are supporting the heavenly round dome inside the church as well. Scripture tells us that the earth has 4 corners. In this, it talks about the totality of earth. When the river divides in Eden, there was a river which divided into 4 rivers inside the garden. It speaks about the totality. That river is going all around the world. The square is also depicting the manifestation of the heavenly identity on earth. You can see it in the pendentives, that the heavenly dome in the very top of the dome, it is Trinity depicted in different images. Jesus Christ, dove, or the Father. And that manifestation is then in the 4 Gospels that are depicted in the pendentives of the dome. But square is also about judgment. It has these cutting corners, straight corners. And this is depicted on the floor of the church, in the black and white squares. Now we come to the meeting point of these 2 shapes, and that's our 3rd shape. And the 3rd shape is the triangle. And there aren't many places that you can find the triangle in the church, but one of them is the most easiest to find when you are looking for a church. It is the spire. The spire is going toward heaven. And just like in the scripture and in everyday life, if you look at the mountains, the meeting point of heaven and earth seems to be on the top of the mountain, seems to be on the top of the triangle. And scripture tells us that Eden was on top of a mountain, and Moses met God at the top of Mount Sinai, where he got the law and the 10 commandments. Also, this shape, it is the meeting point of heaven and earth, but it also tells us about hierarchy. In the Mount Sinai, the Israelites were on the bottom of the mountain. The 70 elders were in the midpoint, in the middle of the mountain, and when Moses went alone on the top of the mountain. So there is the hierarchy in that shape embedded as well. These are the 3 simple shapes that will take your church reading to a new level. Because now you can start using, whenever you see these shapes in the church, you know that the circle is about heaven on top. The square is about the earth on the bottom, and the triangle is the meeting point of heaven and earth. I hope this will help you make the church reading much more simpler to you, easier, and see you with the next video.